Welcome to the Habicast, the first official podcast of Habitat for Humanity of Pinellas and West Pasco counties. The Habicast highlights the Habitat mission, our community impact, and the partners that help make it happen. Hello, and welcome to the Habicast, Habitat Pinellas and West Pasco's new show, highlighting our homeowners, our impact in the community, and our partners that help make it happen. I'm here today with Mike Sutton, our president and CEO, and my co-host. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
That's you.
How's it going, Morgan?
Great. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm ready for the weekend.
Agreed.
I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I am ready for the weekend.
That's all that matters.
You got anything fun planned?
No, and that's the best part.
Yeah, exactly. I got to do some laundry and go grocery shopping. But other than that, I'm going to rest and relax.
Perfect.
And maybe lose my cell phone for half of a day or something. But
that's nice. Unplugging is always nice. But before you unplug, for those of you tuned in, make sure to get social with us. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. If you want to catch up on previous Habicast episodes, you can now listen to episodes on Spotify, as well as at radiostpete.com, and catch up on previous conversations with our favorite Habicast friends.
Yeah, we're getting, you can find us everywhere now. It's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool. And we have a super exciting Habicast friend today, Bill Brand. We're really excited to chat with him.
I'm so excited. Bill's been a mentor of mine and someone who, I got to know through Habitat over the last 7-8 years. And, he was president of HSN for a number of years through their acquisition by QVC. He moved on to a couple different roles, and now he's serving as the CEO for Rue 21, which is I learned a men's and women's store for really kind of targeting the 15 to 25, year range. But he also serves on the international board of directors for Habitat. And so Bill loves Habitat, bleeds Habitat, and we're going to hear some really cool stories from him, I think. Him and I had the opportunity to meet President Carter a number of years ago. And so we'll get him to talk a little bit about that and just the impact that his work has had on an international and a local level.
Yeah, I'm so excited to chat with him, especially to hear about his career path and then how he kind of got in with Habitat as well. And then to get to that international board level is pretty amazing. So I can't wait to hear some cool stories.
Yeah. Cool.
Before that, catching up on some Habitat news, we now have a third Restore location.
Yeah, just more places to shop.
Of course. Yeah, love that. So we always talk about how you can get involved with Habitat, and whether it's through applying to the program or referring a friend, you can also do some shopping or donate to our Restore. Proceeds from our Restores go back into the Habitat mission and help us fund more home builds.
I was earlier this morning, I was standing outside, and there was a truck unloading a semi full of doors. So you never know what we're going to have in our stores, right? But I mean, if you're doing upgrades or you bought a new piece of property and you want to, improve the doors or change out the doors, perfect place to come as opposed to going and paying retail, right? So we obviously have the store in Clearwater on the corner of 49th and Ulmerton. We have the store on Madison up in Newport Richey. And now we have a brand new store on US 19 in Palm Harbor between Tampa and Curlew Roads. So definitely check out one of the Restores and know that the funds that you spend will actually help benefit the Habitat program and help to build more homes in our community.
Mm-hmm. It's very exciting. So yeah, make sure you check out those locations. I'm ready to chat with Bill. You want to get over him?
Let's talk to him. All right. Well, hey, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us today. We are excited to have Mr. Bill Brand joining us. Bill has been involved with Habitat for many years, and we're going to hear a little bit about that. But Bill, I think the majority of our community knows you through your time at HSN. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now?
Hi, Mike, and hi, Morgan. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the great work that you guys do every day. As you said, and where we met Mike first was when I was at HSN. I had a number of roles there over the period of time I was there, 11 or 12 years. Ended up as president of the company, had just a great run working with great people and doing great things in the community. From there, after the company was acquired by Curate, I went off. I ended up in the cruise space, in the travel space at Carnival Corporation, where I was able to run retail for their ships around the world. Really cool opportunity to learn a business, kind of continue to create experiences. And unfortunately, COVID hit. And you know what that did, not only to so many businesses, but certainly to the cruise industry, such an important part of the Florida economy. And I went off to seek my next opportunity. And I explored a number of things, but I was really looking for things that connect me. And I believe in the power of community. I believe in the power of content and storytelling. And I believe in retail and commerce. And so I ended up doing interviews with a number of companies. And this company, Rue 21, came up. And I wasn't quite familiar with the brand. But as I was digging in, I was like, wow, there's something really interesting here. And Route 21, for those of you that are listening, there's a number of stores in the Tampa Bay area, from Tyrone to West Shore, Citrus Park, even up in, for your Pasco friends, up in Newport Richey, we have a store on Highway 19. So it's a store that a specialty retailer, the leading specialty retailer for guys and girls 15 to 25 years old. And a real sense of community. What I love about it is it's all about authenticity and inclusivity. And they have a real connection to this customer, and the business is doing well. It's based up near Pittsburgh, and I am down in Florida until after COVID. I'll be spending much more time up there. But we're all over the country, and it is a great opportunity to lead this company, lead this brand, and really put it on the map and let people know that this company is for them.
Also,
so it's a pretty exciting time.
So I obviously am too old to shop there, but Morgan,
just past the cut, but I think
you're
I can
still welcome, Morgan. You're still welcome, and Mike, I have a hoodie or two for you. I promise.
Oh, perfect. I like. We have one of these Route 21 stores right down the street from our office, and I never realized how many of those stores are around our area until you went to work there, and then all of a sudden something on my radar, right? So I saw one at Countryside and Citrus Park over the holidays as I was out shopping. So that's cool. That's a cool move for you, and the whole idea of kind of building a brand. I mean, that's seeing what you and the team and Mindy and everyone did at HSN. You guys really transformed that brand from kind of the can I say the grandma sitting around watching the Home Shopping Network?
Those are the stereotypes. No, I think like what our experience at HSN was just amazing. A great team of people there. But to your point, it was a TV centric business, so it was really based in the TV channel that everyone was so familiar with, and the idea that this company that is founded in St. Petersburg in Pinellas County. How do we make it more relevant? And so that was really focused on the brand, building the community, and also pivoting to this digital platform. And that really was what helped to really grow HSN into what we all know of it today as a very relevant, very forward approach to, content-driven retail. So it's pretty cool to see that. It was cool to be a part of that. By the time before the company was acquired, we were a top 10 e-commerce player, a top 5 mobile player. So we made a lot of the right investments in the business, and I learned so much there, from programming to marketing and business development. And in leadership. So when I was out exploring and thinking, how are these skills transferable? This is how I ended up discovering the power of building new communities and targeting a different shopper. So it might not be, to your point, your grandmother's or whatever, which is so not true. That's such a dated stereotype. HSN is a very diverse age group. But
it is now.
But the bottom line is you're targeting, in that case, it was targeting a woman, say 35, 40 plus. And here, it's the same principles. We're targeting 15 to 25-year-olds. And of course, we're going to have younger shoppers and we're going to have older shoppers. Sure. But the more that we speak to exactly who we know our audience is, the more successful we'll be as a brand.
Absolutely.
Well, what's been really cool about HSN is through the transition and the consolidation, and as well as new leadership, they've remained a big supporter of Habitat and our community. And a lot of that is because of the legacy that you and so many others left. And can you talk a little bit about how my understanding is HSN Cares, which is the philanthropic arm of HSN was a creation of Mr. Bill Brands. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Thank you, Mike. I think the word legacy is well taken. It's certainly something that I will be proud of for the rest of my life, and it's the most meaningful thing. I think, as much as you can talk about a great business and a great team, and there certainly is a great team there. The team came together and we said, how do we make an impact in this community that we serve? We've invested in our people and the facilities, the customers, and we were doing a lot of good things, but how do you stitch it together into one story? And that's really what HSN Cares became. And as you mentioned, Habitat was one of our pillar partners through that. And when we did research with our customers on what are the values that we share, certainly Habitat as a great brand, Habitat for Humanity, came to the top. And so our customers really guided us in that. Also, as you think about home and home shopping, it really made a lot of sense. But Mike, that was early on. And when we built our relationship and our friendship, and you were able to open up the doors and we were able to do some great projects together. We ended up 2 homes a year. And again, as you said, the team continued. I'm so proud. I have a number of friends, of course, that are still in the business there, and they tell me about their engagement with Habitat, and I just continue to root them on, because we all know that the issue of affordable housing doesn't end when a management team changes. It doesn't end for this community or any other community that we serve around the globe, that there's a big, heavy lift ahead. So keeping their engagement is something that I'm proud of, and continuing to introduce Habitat to other brands that want to make an impact in their community like you guys do every day is something that I will continue to strive to achieve for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Mike Fitzharris has kind of done a great job of keeping Habitat at the forefront of their philanthropic work. And again, you guys did such a great job of laying that foundation and keeping keeping a philanthropic mindset as the company grew and eventually was sold. So.
Yeah, no, I think that and I think when you're talking about a brand, no matter what the brand is, there are many layers to it. And I think the most important thing, and for me, when I think about, whether it's my life or my career, I think about community building. I think of that connection. I think of curiosity, but I also think about caring. And brands have a heart. How do we embrace that and help share that with the customer base, with your employee base? I can tell you a key part of our success in the Habitat piece was the community building that we did, but within our community, our team at HSN. Right. So when we would announce that we were building a house and they would release the schedule, every team across the company competed to get onto that schedule as quickly as they could. So certainly it was about doing good, but it was also about team engagement. And I don't think, we can talk about or that what the issue is here, or the opportunity, which is team building and coming together to serve others. And I think that was a reflection on our brand. And I think it was really a big part of the growth that our customers saw, that we cared what they cared about. And that was able to help us grow our business overall. And so, my proud legacy there was, we raised tens of millions of dollars for organizations that shared values with our customers. And I think that's something that, I'm proud of, and I love to continue to do that fundraising.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about your involvement with Habitat International, because that spun out of your engagement on a local level.
Yeah, absolutely. I am on the vice chair of Habitat for Humanity International and their board of directors. And it did start with Mike, and it started with Habitat locally here in Pinellas County. So certainly whether that was putting up roof trusses or laying sod or helping to balance kitchen cabinets so they were flat or whatever they're supposed to be, it was always a challenge. But, Gabriella or anyone else could help us through this issue. But it started again on the ground with our teams and with our community. And from that, Mike and I had the opportunity to go to Plains, Georgia, with Habitat executive team out of Atlanta for kind of a weekend to learn more about the power of Habitat around the globe. And we also did, of course, we went to Plains, which is Americus, which is the home of where Habitat was founded in 1976, is just down the street from where Jimmy Carter grew up. And so we were able to spend time at his boyhood home, and we were also spend time with Jimmy Carter himself, the former president, which was an amazing introduction to what a further introduction of what Habitat is doing. And so it kind of started with that, but it was really recognized by the work that we were doing here in Pinellas County. And from that, I was offered the opportunity to join that international board and to now serve Habitat at this global level. Again, I think many people, there's many myths involved with Habitat, as you guys know, and you probably try to dispel them every day, that Jimmy Carter is not the founder. Jimmy Carter is our most famous volunteer and has put us on the map as a brand. But we also don't give homes away, that we have home buyers that will get a mortgage from this process. But this happens through what you guys do here, and the homes that you're building, I think will impact around 5,000 homes in the US through the 1,100 affiliates. And Pinellas Pasco is one of the top 2 or 3 in the country in terms of the volume every single year, because of the commitment of your leadership team, but also the commitment that this community steps up.
Absolutely.
And that makes a big difference. But as you think about globally, what many people don't realize, and we all know that housing is an issue around this world, but we are in 70 countries. And last year in 2020, Habitat for Humanity served 6 million people through either building or improving their homes. And that's the type of impact that sounds huge, 6 million. But we know that the issue, the opportunity is even greater than that. And that's really where we all have to work together. And while we are proud of the numbers that we can even achieve locally, we're not scratching the surface. And I think COVID as well has really even highlighted that this is an even greater problem, that the lack of affordable housing, the idea that 50% of Americans, or some crazy number, 18 million Americans are paying more than 50% of their income toward housing. And that is just not sustainable. And I think programs like what you guys do every day will make an impact, but we have to also think about this in a global way. And that's also where I think Habitat can serve. We can certainly, from the Habitat for Humanity International, from a brand perspective, from bringing the affiliates together, bringing this global story together, we can make an impact. But it's also the advocacy work that is happening in Washington to drive the affordable housing issue up there, because this is a crisis and it has only gotten worse because of COVID. And I think that we need to really address
one of the things that Morgan does a lot to push out into the community is to talk about the impact COVID has had on housing and health. As we're encouraged to stay at home and shelter in place, but if you don't have a healthy and a reliable and safe place to call home, then it's hard for you to shelter in place.
Yeah. No, the impact of a home, and I've learned this. I mean, I think what I talk about, when I'm, what's important, right? I always talk about caring and caring deeply. And that's really what Habitat, is such an important part of my life. But that piece of handing over a key to a homeowner, like there's nothing greater than that. But you're giving them more than a key to the house that they've built and that they've bought. You're giving them a different future. And I think what we have to think about, to your point with COVID, is a home does improve your health and the health of the family. And this is it's proven. There's the science behind it. It improves the education of your children. It allows many of these families to put their kids in school at the same school year after year, which we know improves their education and ultimately improves their prospects for jobs and for careers. And I think when you start to put all of this together, we're doing more than building homes, we're changing lives. And we are not just changing one family, we're changing generations of families. And that's the power of Habitat. And that's why I'm so proud of what you guys do and why I will support it forever.
I think it was even more, we saw it so much during the past year. I mean, serving 61 families despite the pandemic and still closing on homes. And while we had dedications and they were a little bit different, the difference that it made seeing somebody, especially the kids, oh my gosh, knowing that they had a home to come home to and it was somewhere safe that they could study and stay home if they need to, if they're sick and recoup and things like that, it makes a huge difference, especially now more than ever.
Yeah, no, you guys had such a blessing, and you see it when you see it in person. It's so powerful, and I try to, when we are allowed to travel and be out and about, I always try to invite people or try to get people to do that and to show up. And I think we think about what's impacted and how you guys have kind of the resiliency that you've shown here in Pinellas and Pasco through Habitat through this period. You're continuing to build, you're continuing to provide homes for people that need them. And that's pretty powerful. I mean, I think that, the hard part as you think about what Habitat represents, we all think, of course, like Mike and I do, about President Carter, but we also think of volunteers. But there's also other ways that people can give back and contribute to Habitat, whether that's shopping at Restore or donating to Restore. If it is, making, considering us as one of your top places to donate is personal, and make that commitment, because you know what, I can't complain about working from home. I have a job and I have a home, and I not everyone does. So maybe this is a time that we need to remind our neighbors to dig a little deeper, and not everyone is in the situation that we're all in right now. And you guys can help change that. We just need to help you even more.
So it's really cool, Bill, to see how passionate you are now about Habitat, after the last 7 years, getting much more engaged, and obviously serving on the International Board of Directors. I want to go back to the Jimmy Carter thing, because, Jimmy Carter is probably the question I get the most when I'm out in the community. Number one, have you met Jimmy Carter? Number two, if I come out and volunteer, can you get Jimmy Carter to come down, right? Because I have a direct line to him, right? But what was it like to, you've met millions of people and probably a lot of celebrities in your days working for Lifetime and VH1 and HSN. What was it like to meet Jimmy Carter? Obviously one of, 46 people who have ever held the president title in our country. What was it like for you?
Yeah. I've had the honor of meeting 4 US presidents. I think the respect that I have for Jimmy Carter comes down to, certainly I was so young when he was president. It isn't about that. It's really about what we know about his life post-presidency. Sure. And I don't even know if it's still true. Maybe Obama is younger, but I remember that he was the youngest former president to leave the White House. And he, unlike today where they're speaking tours and lobby, there wasn't all of that. He and Rosalind went back to Plains, Georgia, to their house, and to make money, they wrote books, and to fill their time. That's when they met Millard Fuller and were friends with him in the community, who founded Habitat, and they started volunteering. And, to me, that just speaks so much about his character and who he is. But it wasn't just showing up once. Obviously, he's made almost a lifetime commitment to this organization. And, but to listen to him, we had lunch in a tent at his boyhood home on the property, and just to hear him talk and answer questions with just, such, so smart, but also, as we all know of President Carter, so down to earth and authentic. It was pretty cool. We spent the next morning, we went to church, and, growing up, I thought Sunday school was where the kids went. I didn't realize that Sunday school in the South is where the adults go. And sure. President Carter taught us Sunday school that day, and that was pretty cool. But it's so heartwarming to see him and then see Rosalind in that front row, and the love that they have for each other and the love that they have for every single person in that room just comes through. And he has a genuine passion for this mission and this ministry of Habitat, and it's something that you just feel. I've met him now 2 or 3 times. Okay. I've been my partner Chris and I have sponsored Carter Build Week for the last several years as something that we've done. We've invited a number of our friends. So we went to, and that's the other thing with Habitat, as I've traveled the world on this international thing. I've seen places I never thought I would see. You'd think, you dream of someday making a trip to Paris. You don't dream of making a trip to El Salvador. Sure. And I've been to San Salvador. I've been in the slums. I've seen what we do, and I've seen the impact that we've had as we've moved families into villages where there are jobs, where they in the factories, and now they have a home because of the work that is happening through Habitat. I've been to Cambodia, which was fascinating. Our first Carter work project was up in Edmonton, Canada, and that was a number of years ago. Very different.
I remember that.
And that was cool. And I thought, we're going to go up there and we're going to meet President Carter again. Maybe we'll have lunch again. No. You're up there to work. And when President Carter is there, you are working. And his house was a few houses down from the one that we were building. And, you just think, I could use a break. And then you see this former president not taking a break, you're not taking a break. Like, you're going to continue with it. And so I did that. We also did Nashville just a couple years ago. We were
cool.
in Nashville and sponsored that build as well. And just amazing way. I use it as an opportunity to bring colleagues and friends that haven't supported or haven't completely committed to Habitat, to bring them along on the journey, to show them that this is what it's about. And in those builds, when you do a Carter build, I think it's like 100 or 150 homes are being done at once. So it's like this amazing thing. The cool part there is that we were the house next door to Garth and Trish. So Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, and the house next to them was where it was President Carter and Mrs. Carter. And they were, he was cutting the brackets for the porches, and then he would hand them to Mrs. Carter, and she would paint them all day long. And so
that's cute.
Just again, I think there's a lot, that our brand benefits from that commitment from President Carter, but it takes 1 million volunteers across the country every year to build and volunteer on Habitat sites, and I just can't wait for this COVID thing to be over so we can be out in full force again. I can't tell you. I was speaking to a friend of mine that he's in the jewelry industry up in New York, and I was catching up with him this week, and he said, and I had taken him and his son to Nashville, invited them to join us, and he just can't wait to get back out there and build again. And I said, well, let me talk to my friends in Pinellas. Maybe we'll sponsor a house down here, and we'll invite everybody down, and we'll do a build. So
perfect.
Once we can, we'll travel again. We'll bring a hole, and we'll make it an event here in Pinellas.
We're slowly reopening our sites here over the next couple of weeks, mainly to homeowner candidates. That's been the biggest shift for us through COVID, is the homeowner candidates that were closing on their homes right now never had the opportunity to swing a hammer on their own home.
Oh, wow.
And so it's changed a little bit for us. And that's, I think that's been a little bit of a struggle, but we've increased the education for the homeowner candidates throughout the process as well. So we know that will have a direct impact on them for the long term. But
that's great. We should still hold them accountable for the hours, though. I'm sure they're going to want to help their neighbors, right? So
exactly.
I was going to say,
all of those homeowners that got by without having to break a sweat with us, they owe us.
I was going to say, so many of them, dedication day, they're ready to go. I've heard from several of them that have talked to our senior vice president of programs, Jack Shanks. They're like, when we're ready, let us know, because we want to come back out. Because now they've met people in the program and they want to help, which is awesome. It's really awesome to see.
One of the things when you're speaking of homeowners, and we've all met now, many of you guys get to meet many more than I ever will. But one of my favorite stories, I'm on the governance committee as well of Habitat for Humanity International. And about 2 years ago, we had our first person who grew up in a Habitat home join the board, which was a gentleman named Boris Henderson. And he was very active in the Charlotte affiliate, and he joined the board. And but it's just to hear his story, and if you've I'm sure the CEO of Habitat International, Jonathan Reckford, wrote a book, My Better Angels, and there's a chapter that's Boris is in there in the story. So but you think of, that's when you talk about life-changing and what you're able to do for people, whether it's these homeowners that will come back and help us build or help serve on the boards. I mean, that's right. That commitment and life-changing moment is there, and it's we have to continue to bring them along with us.
Yep, for sure. Well, Bill, thank you for everything you do for Habitat on a local level here in Pinellas and West Pasco counties, but especially the impact you've had on the mission across the globe. So we can't thank you enough for your continued support. As we wrap up, Morgan's going to ask a question to you that we've been asking everyone that we've had on our podcast.
So we launched a campaign last year, pre-pandemic, talking about the power of home. Little did we know how serious that was actually going to become with this pandemic craziness. But we've been asking our guests and homeowners and sponsors and everybody that we've really come in contact with to get their answer, because everyone's a little bit different. What does home mean to you?
Home means to me is refuge. It's the safe place that you go and you escape and you recharge. and where you're loved. And it's this foundation that allows us to live our best lives. And I love my home, and I love what it represents, which, again, is this idea of foundation and safety. And we're very fortunate. And, Mike, I think you're kind and generous with your platitudes, but most importantly, I thank you guys for what you're doing. And I think every day you guys are focused on how do we serve more families? How do we do this? And the idea, I think, Morgan, you said 61 homes, which is phenomenal. And, I think it's, just the beginning. And I think we all owe you guys a debt of gratitude and say thank you for what you're doing. You're doing the heavy lift. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Bill. And again, thank you for joining us today. It was great catching up and great hearing about, what you got going on, and can't wait to get you back on site swinging a hammer.
Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait. I'm not doing the sod again. Those fire ants. Oh, those killed me.
Inside up.
Oh, okay. I'll see you guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Bill.
Thanks, Bill. All right. Well, thank you.
Let's go shopping.
Well, that was fun talking to Bill, Morgan. What an
amazing story.
Yeah, he's a great guy who's done so much for Habitat on a local and an international level. Mm-hmm. And we're fortunate that he continues to do work with us. So we're and I'm excited for him with this new role. It sounds right up his alley with his background.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what he does with that brand. And now we know that we are also welcome, and we may need to do some shopping this weekend at Brew 21.
I know. And I'm going to go get some hoodies just in time for the warm weather.
There you go.
Awesome.
Well, before you leave us to go shopping, make sure that you get social with us, like, subscribe, rate, share our Habicast podcasts, like us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We have some dedications coming up. Tune into those on Facebook, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, everybody.